Welcome to the Featured Anime Podcast. I'm your host, Jack.
And I'm Rick.
And today we are talking about Made in Abyss, Dawn of the Deep Soul, which was basically our choice for the continuation of our Abyss journey as we move on through everything. But before that, we were remembering some not so wonderful, pleasant times in the old internet days, back when things were still growing and evolving, so to speak, and blooming in a manner of speaking. And then also, some other wonderful topics and discussions. If you want to catch a part of that water conversation, go to patreon.com/Featured Anime Podcast. $1 a month will get you access to that bonus content. Or if you feel so inclined to join us when we live stream, you can go to twitch.tv/Featured Anime Podcast. We do throw out notifications on our Discord and on Twitter whenever we go live. So feel free to join us and join in on the fun. If you want to help support us through other means, though, and you don't want to join us live, we are available for stream everywhere. And you can also contact us. All our contact information is available to you through our show notes, or you can go to featuredanimepodcast.com for all that wonderful information. And if you do happen to be a patron sponsor, you can go listen to us now on Spotify with your patron exclusive stream. And if you want to get yourself some tasty treats, use code Featured Anime with our affiliate link in the show notes, and you'll get $5 off your first month. And it is one of the most delicious boxes of treats you'll ever get, and I do highly recommend it. And now on to the meat and potatoes. Made in Abyss, Dawn of the Deep Soul is a movie that came out in January 2020. Producers for it are ATX, Takes Hobo, Kodakawa, just to name a couple of the producers for it. The studio for it is Kinema Citrus, and it's based off of a web manga. Genres for it are adventure, drama, fantasy, sci-fi, action, and gore, and it ran for about an hour 45 minutes. Now, Made in Abyss, Dawn of the Deep Soul, it takes place directly after the events of season 1 or the first 2 movies, and it takes place directly before the beginning of season 2. So this is not a movie that you can skip over, since it ties in directly into the series and it flows along with it, and it helps answers a lot of the questions that you actually would have. But the primary premise of the movie is after Nanichi loses Midi, she decides to go ahead and join Riko and Reg on their journey down into the depths of the abyss, and then going out down into the 5th layer, which is called the Sea of Corpses, which is basically the layer that's just before the final depth where you can no longer return. Going there, the masked sadist Bondru stands between them and the rest of their adventure, and Bondru's horrific laboratory serves as a final checkpoint for those who wish to traverse deeper into the abyss. But the scientist has no real desire to allow Riko or her party to pass on, at least without a cost. And you actually find out that what that cost is, and it's not necessarily something that he is even restricting onto them as well. You also find out Bondru is also kind of has a daughter, and her name is Prushka. And this story revolves around them understanding the White Whistle, the story behind it, and the world a little bit better, and to understand how the White Whistles truly are.
Yeah. Twisted would be one of my top descriptors. To become a White Whistle requires
sacrifice.
More sacrifice than
pure and simple. So this movie really kind of, and I had said this during the last 3 podcast episodes, you'll get all your answers, or not all your answers, but you'll get a lot of answers in this movie, and everything gets set up beautifully for this movie, and a lot of answers happen in this movie. And it's not necessarily answers that you're like, oh, well, that's good to know. It's answers you're like, well, that's some messed up stuff right there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's in order to become a white whistle, it almost feels like you have to lose your humanity.
Right.
But at the same time, you can't lose your humanity. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. But before we dive into to how you gain your white whistle, like let's kind of like backtrack a little bit. Let's kind of go through the story, and let's start off like at the beginning, so that way we're not going to the middle or 3/4 through the movie, like you were just trying to do.
I'm sorry. No, it's one of those things that just I can't get it out of my head, but I will do my best.
There you go. Well, so the beginning, right? You learn that, and you're kind of led to the point where they're going through this whole area, and then you learn about these insects that are technically not even supposed to be on the 4th layer. They're supposed to be in the 6th layer, and they disguise themselves as leaves. And if you basically see them, you're in the middle of a nest. So they see
they're nightmare fuel.
They are very much nightmare fuel. And when I said that this is more gory, I was not joking. Like, this is a lot more gory simply because the insects keep you alive while they eat you. And the kind of like the older ones, I guess, feed themselves to you. Like, they will literally go into your stomach so that way your body digests them to keep you alive longer. So that way those their babies, the larvas, have live food to eat. And you just see these corpses everywhere from it. And it is honestly a very horrific scene. It is very gruesome.
Yeah, I don't think you're giving it enough justice, to be perfectly honest.
It's a horrific scene. It's very gruesome, and is not enough justice. It's like,
no,
okay.
Mainly because what happens is you're still alive when they attack you.
That's what I said. Like,
no, but like it gets worse. It gets worse because you don't lose your humanity until they start eating your brain from the inside out.
Well, it's not that you're losing your humanity. You're being kept alive. And I said that you're kept alive. They feed themselves to you, forcing you to stay alive. So the babies, the larvas, have a live host to eat. I don't understand how your description is like, oh, they lose their humanity. It has nothing to do with their humanity. They're being kept alive so their larva can eat them, and they're feeding themselves to them so that way they can. And so I feel like that's a pretty accurate description. I feel like that is just very, very just. I mean, like,
well, the way that you were describing it sounded like, at least to me, it sounded a lot like it was one of those things where, you pass out, you're numbed, and then they just start consuming it. And the way that I understood it was, I
literally just reiterated everything, and then you're like, well, that's not what I heard the first time. No, I literally just reiterated everything that I said.
I know, but I guess the sticking point for me is they're still conscious while this is going on. It's not something that happens.
No, they're still very much alive. Yeah. Yeah. There's.
I guess the sticking point for me is they're not comatose.
Yeah, we have no idea how coherent they are. I mean, like, the larvae have eaten their eyes, eaten most of their brain, I'm assuming, except for what's the parts that are keeping them alive.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, ate the tongue.
Or whatever else.
It was.
They just show the face. They don't show the whole body. All right. But you can assume. Yeah, you can assume. And then they let out the scream, and that's their "I'm ready" call, I guess. Like, it was weird. It was. I don't understand what the screaming was for, but it signified something important. Yeah, it signified to the queen, but they were basically firebombing the whole area to try and destroy and get it under control. Which, I mean, like, honestly, if you have a giant hill that's where the queen is, I mean, I don't think burning the whole area is going to do a whole lot. I think you're kind of screwed. Right?
Well, which
kind of brings to light, right? Because you know how we were talking before, the viewpoint of like, well, the abyss curse kind of permeates and floats out through the what's it called?
The
Out of the abyss onto the surrounding
the
area,
hole in the
right?
ground? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So at that point, right, don't you think that the insects coming up from the 6th layer to that 5th layer is also a symbolization that it is eventually going to spill out to the rest of the world?
It would. Well, when you put it like that, yeah, it's a very direct. Yeah, when you put it like that, it seems like a very direct path. If you take it to its logical extreme, yeah, the 6th layer was going to overflow out of the abyss and into everywhere else. I was more interested in the fact that these living beings did not suffer the curse or blessing, as we will learn them to be called, at all.
Are you talking about the
insects?
Well, we don't. Well, we don't know how the insects or other creatures handle the curses or whatever as they travel or permeate through the layers. Like we're never given that information simply because we never see it either.
Okay, maybe. Well, maybe I misunderstood this part then. But there's the staircase inside the bottommost layer of level 5, where they go meet Babushka. No, that's not her name.
Barushka?
Barushka, yes. Where they meet Barushka. And she goes, that if you walk through there, you're going to suffer the curse. And her little animal jumps up, no problem. And she explains it, at least in the dub, she explains it that, oh, they're not really thinking beings. They don't have the cognitive ability to understand what's going on, so they can just bypass everything. And the way that you can climb up, at least in this particular instance, is if you close your eyes and only focus on one thing, blocking out everything else, the curse doesn't affect you on these stairs.
Well, that's not how they explain it, and she doesn't understand it. She just says, "I don't know why, but he's not affected by the curse." And the reason why she has Rico smell him, right, is to focus in on it, because then you can see the trails of where he's leaving for her to follow, and you focus on that, and it helps you get past and move beyond it. But it's not like she can just like, oh, I'm just going to look at this and focus on it. No, she has to close her eyes and she has to intensely focus on it, basically using her mind's eye for it.
Yeah. And I thought that signified a way that you can traverse the curse without it affecting you like that. Because her first attempt going up those stairs, she got hit in the face and got cut on the hand, and you find out later that she lost all sense of herself, and those injuries were her falling down the stairs. So they weren't phantom attacks, they were her injuring herself because
it's not that it's not just her loss of self, the sense of self. It's when you're going up there, you lose all senses, including the sense of pain. And that's what's also explained too, is like, because you don't have the sense of pain or the basically senses, you can't really sense anything other than through smell. So like a majority of your senses are gone. That's why if you're able to focus in on something that you're able to focus in on and still utilize, which is not pain, but smell in this case, you're able to really kind of hone in and focus on the smell, and it helps you along so that way you're not losing yourself and worried about anything else. And so you're just climbing along because that's all you're thinking about. That's all you're focusing on.
Okay. Well, I misunderstood that completely because, I didn't get any of that. I just got that if you don't pay attention to the higher functioning parts of your brain, you can traverse, which is why I assumed the bugs were able to come up without any negative repercussions, because they don't have the cognitive features, the cognitive function to understand what the curse is. And the little animal walked up there because, again, not smart enough to realize that there's a curse, not smart enough to be affected by the curse. So that's I thought they were trying to show us what the curse, the knowledge is power and stuff like that. And then
it's not even that, right? it's basic form. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's not like, oh, you don't know there's a curse, you won't be affected by it. You'll be affected by it. And
so why wasn't the animal?
Because it's the animal. I mean, like, it's the same reason as to why Reg isn't affected by it. He can bleed, he can hurt, he eats and everything like that, right? He is a robot, but he's a living entity at the exact same time. Kind of, sort of. He's not affected by the curse either.
I assume that he was not affected by the curse simply because he was part machine, and his brain worked off of what is essentially ones and zeros. Like he's not a.
It wouldn't matter if you're part machine, because if
he's
you're
a Pinocchio,
right? But if you're part machine, that means you're also part human, and it wouldn't matter. But
well, I feel like he's all machine.
Let me explain this to you in another way. Your argument will be put to rest in episode 1 of season 2.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Because when in the first episode of season 2, this dude, he's like, oh, I'm going to go up on this hill and get a better view, see what's going on. He goes up the hill and then he just collapses while they're still in the first layer. And it's like, oh, what happened to him? And someone they're with says, oh, that happens because he went up too high. Like, literally, they had no idea about a curse. They had no premonition or forethought for it. Literally, they just made it to the island. They were there for like maybe a day. They were going down in, and he said, I'm going to go up on this hill. He went up on that hill, and he got afflicted by the curse.
So okay. I see where you're coming from. I see what you're saying. But it's a little bit, well, it's a lot of not what I mean.
But that's exactly what you said. Is that's why I confirmed. That's why I said not knowing about it doesn't mean you're not afflicted by it.
I guess not knowing it is not the right way to say it. You don't have enough gray matter. Similarly, you can't teach a wild animal language typically. They don't have the cognitive function, which the bugs coming up aren't smart. The animal that is going up the stairs isn't intellectually advanced.
So your argument is because they're dumb, and that's why they're not able to comprehend.
They're not developed.
They're not able to comprehend that there's a curse? Is that what you're saying?
No, I feel like they're bypassed because they're animalistic. And I feel like the reason why that she was able to climb those stairs and not be affected by the curse is because she isolated things and she focused. So let me put it to you like this. And let me break it down for you like this. If they're that dumb, right? To put it simple, if they're that dumb, right? They wouldn't be warned saying the further down you go, the more intelligent and cunning the creatures are. So take the Pierce Orber, who is highly intelligent, able to read and see the flow of the curse or the matter that's around them and be able to see what's going on. I don't think it's necessarily that they're able to bypass the curse or the curse doesn't affect them. It's they're able to read the flow of it and they're able to move around it because they have a higher cognitive function and they're able to see it unlike everyone else. And Nanichi can see the flow of the curse and everything that's going on. And that's how she was able to see and go, oh, this isn't an effective area. So that way we can go ahead and move through here. Or this is why I'm here because it's not as strong. And so it's not going to affect you as much. The insects and the other creatures are, the deeper you go, are able to see it. Also, the further away from the center, the weaker it gets. So if you're looking for a way to go up and you're one of those creatures that have that higher cognitive function, are able to go and see, oh, that's an area where I'm able to go through and not get hurt. And they will use that to get around it. It's not that it doesn't affect them. They're smarter and they can see it and go around it. Whereas if the humans aren't able to, they're able to see and read the flow. And that's why you see that creature not go make a beeline all the way up. You see it just jumping around going up. Okay. So you're saying, and I promise I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm just trying to understand it. So if I understand what you're saying correctly, is the animals are able to have a sight of some kind that Nanichi also has.
Yes.
That they're able to see what the curse is and the ebb and flow of the curse.
Yes.
So they're able to traverse the area of the curse by going to, let's say, more shallow locations.
Yes. Because that's what they're told. And that's what Nanichi even says. Like, because remember when we were talking about them fighting the orb, the curse and the flow, it knows where you're going. Like just from you moving, it's able to, the orb eater, he's able to see where you're going to go just based on that. It's not that he's crazy intelligent over you. It's because he knows where you're going to go before you even commit to it all the way. Simply because your body's intentions are sending the signal to the curses or the flow around you. That's where you're going to go. And so that's how it's able to predict. Thank you. Where you're going to go.
And that must be where I misunderstood, because I didn't take that as intelligent or higher function. I just took that as more instinct, hunt, stuff like that.
Well, you also have to remember the orb eater, when he was looking at Reg and he saw the thing, it kicked it away. It's like, oh, I know you're going to go for this. Boom. Now what are you going to do?
Yeah, but
it doesn't need to be a super crazy high intellectual species to outsmart someone. You just have to be, you know, it's like if the zombie apocalypse happened, you don't have to be the fastest guy. You just don't want to be the slowest.
Faster than somebody else.
Exactly.
You just got to be faster than the guy running next to you.
Exactly.
No, it's not something I have a difficult time understanding and trying to, I guess, explain my viewpoint or my idea, because I see where you're coming from. I just don't think it's right. And I can't explain why.
Okay.
Which kind of sucks considering this is a podcast. Now
well,
use your words to paint images.
Well, it's not even use a word to paint an image, right? It's, can you say something to me that is counter to what I just said?
Yes.
Say it.
I don't believe they're smart. I don't believe they're cunning. I think they're just better with their instincts, and they've learned that this means this and that means that. But it's not necessarily a smart thing or an intelligence thing, because bears do judo in a sense, naturally. It's something they're.
You're not disproving what I'm saying, though. What I'm saying, I'm not saying that they're the smartest individual. And at no point did I say that they were smart. I did say they were cunning, but everyone also is saying that they're cunning.
Yeah, you also said that the lower you go, the smarter they get and the more cunning they get. Because
that's exactly what they also said there, too. Mm-hmm. And I pointed out instances where they do have the intelligence, but I also said they're able to see and read the flow of the curse around them. Pointed out Nanichi and the orb eater.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, so I want you to say something that can disprove my argument. And you are not disproving my argument by simply saying, "Oh, I don't think they're smarter." I'm not saying they're the smartest. Trying to
disprove your inner. It's just the shift, because what you say is not wrong.
Okay.
What you're saying is not wrong.
Okay.
I just can't. The sticking point for me is that little animal that was showing her how to get up there. And if he was able, the little animal was able to climb the stairs, right? That's my sticking point. Because then, even without that animal, she was able to climb the stairs afterwards.
We don't see her climbing the stairs afterwards.
Well, that's how you got to the operation room.
The operating room where the animal did take her?
Oh, yeah, you're right. So I guess she did follow the animal both times.
Yes. And she followed the animal after that, too. The only one that you saw jumping up and down and going every which way all over the place was Reg.
Yeah, no, he's a robot, so I assumed he wasn't affected by the curse anyway. Right. Because the curse really only affects organic beings. At least that's what I see.
Right. So, and we have no idea, honestly, how it affects Nanichi.
I assumed it already did affect her.
Right. Well, we know from 6 to 5, she's affected, but we don't know how it affects her after that while she's in that state, is what I'm saying. They've never shown how it affects her, if it affects her while she's in that state. We haven't seen it. We've seen them go down but we've never
Mhm.
seen him go back up, and we've never seen Nanichi go back up.
Okay. I was gonna say she must have gone back up because she went from level 5 to where did we find level 3?
4.
Level 4? 4.
Yeah. Nanichi. Yeah. So, but we don't know how they were affected because they didn't show that.
But one of them was immortal, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway.
Right. But that's not the one that I'm talking about. I'm talking about Nanichi. Yeah. So
interesting thought. Okay. It's still going to take me some time to get my head to wrap around that because it means yeah, I'm not very good with words when I don't have a good a grasp of it currently.
Well, what if I said level 4 or that wonderful Soma?
Soma. Oh, gotta hit level 5 though. Level 5.
Nope.
Level 4.
Level 4.
Awesome. Throwback for more fun animes. But okay, so putting all that aside, because you're probably correct. I don't think I'm 100% wrong, but I'm a good 80% wrong. I think it's somewhere in the last 20% that I got, and where you're at might be the truth. But wait, dumb question. Considering you said you already talked about episode 1, have you seen season 2 in its entirety?
No, I only started.
Obviously, it's halfway through, but
no, I've only seen the first couple of episodes.
Okay,
that's why I said, like, oh well, before I continue on, might as well. I have to revisit it because it had been a while since I had seen it. So
yeah, instincts are one heck of a thing. But what? So I keep forgetting that guy's name. Who's the white whistle that's down there? Gertrude? No, not Gertrude. Bondrewd. He's kind of like a mad scientist.
Yeah, he is like 100%. He is
like it. And when I say mad scientist, I don't think he's upset. I don't think he's crazy. I think he's removed any and all empathy. So it's pure science. It is pure, unadulterated. I'm curious, and if it hurts you, I'm sorry. Not sorry. Gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, no, he is.
For the next 20 people behind you.
For the next 100 people behind you. Like, the dude is horrible. He also has something that's so the thing, and you learn how truly terrifying the white whistles are, because they're basically an army in and of themselves. They are armed to the teeth with artifacts that are crazy powerful and unique, and you know about this from Ozen. It's also mirrored for Bondrewd, and you can assume for everyone else that they have an artifact that is just crazy powerful. And for Bondrewd, he has a couple of different artifacts. He has quite a few different artifacts, and one of them is basically kind of like Reg's incinerator cannon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's able to actually cut through Reg's body and armor,
like a torch.
Yeah, and this is proved when they cut off Reg's right arm.
Oh, one last note on why white whistles are so dangerous. I know I'm backtracking just a little bit, but it was also stated that a white whistle has the ability to bring out the full potential of each and every relic.
It's because of the white whistle.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is, like, it's one more reason why if they have a relic, if somebody else gets a hold of it, it's not necessarily as impressive.
Well, it's not even that. It's the white whistles are the only one that are able to use their whistle.
Yes, that is true as well.
And so it makes it meaningless. And this is further elaborated on too when they're going through it. In that Bondrewd actually spells out exactly. It's like, oh, well, the reason why no one else can use the white whistle is because you didn't have a connection to the person. Like, the whole area that they're in is basically a ceremonial area that's used to basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is how I interpreted it. Someone's sacrificed who you care deeply for, intimately for, in some manner, and the white whistle is made from them.
Correct. It's one of those things where, yeah, it's nuts, right? It's like if you grew up with a puppy and you loved this puppy. Well, no, it wouldn't be a puppy. Puppies don't work. It has to be a sentient being. We assume it has to be human. We assume, or at least it has to initially be human.
We assume it has to be someone, something, somehow with a deep connection to you. Someone,
Yes.
the deeper the bond, and they never specified human, but the deeper the bond, the deeper the bond, the better it is.
I could have sworn he specified human.
At that point, I mean, like at the end. So, I mean, like,
it could have been just an assumption, but I could have sworn, at least in the dub. In the dub, it specified it has to be human.
I mean, well, how about this? It has to be formerly human.
Fair enough. Formerly human. That's good enough. But what I will say is, it's not just your. It's not attraction. It's not adoration. It's not it's affection. It's not your affection towards your sacrifice that matters. It's their affection towards you. So, like, if you cared about, I don't know, let's say Joe Schmo on the road, and you're like, this is my soulmate, it's awesome, you can sacrifice them and not get a white whistle because they didn't believe it. At the same time, they could fall in love with you, and you're like, you're some random nobody, and they're like, I'll give my life for you, and they would actually turn into, well, at least that's my understanding. It's the affection from the whistle to you, or from the potential,
it's the connection,
the material to you.
The deeper the connection is, the better it is, and
so it has to go both ways.
So
it's a genuine question. I don't know.
So the reason why I don't know is because Bondrude's whistle is made from himself.
Yeah.
So I don't think it necessarily needs to go both ways. I just think it, for him at least, right? Which just only makes it more ambiguous as to the true nature of how you get it. You just know that Soylent Green's made of people, like white whistles. So, you know,
it makes me think how everybody else got them, because yes, they're a little crazy, but
it's not that it's not a whole lot of people either. You only have like 4 or 5 people to have a white whistle.
Yeah. Well, here's my thought process. And this is just me going, hey, this would be kind of cool if it was this. Our main character was dead, right?
Yeah.
Is it perhaps her dying that granted her mom the white whistle?
No, she already had the white whistle before she had her.
Oh, so she was just cold-hearted to begin with, and then gained a heart upon birth, roughly, probably.
Who knows?
Well, her father was dead. Maybe the father's the one that gave the white whistle.
Had the white whistle before the father too.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. That'd be kind of a story I'd like to watch.
Yeah. So, and the reason why I say that is because in the movie they showed her having a meal with the girl's father, and she already had the white whistle.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yep.
Huh. Wait,
I know the plot thickens, right?
I was gonna say, I got the stuff I was trying to say don't really matter then, or rather, it does matter. It just don't add up.
Right.
Interesting. So does that mean that? Never mind. That doesn't make any sense. Do you have to make your sacrifice in the 5th level?
Yes. They said that where Bondrude is, that's where the ceremony takes place, where you're able to get the white whistle.
Yes, but my question, or my thought was, you know how, like, is there a ceremony that needs to take place, that needs to start and finish for the sacrifice, or is it just the level itself that is the sacrifice?
I'm assuming they have to be within that one force field area.
Proximity is important then. Okay.
That's my assumption. Whether or not it's true is another story, but that's my assumption.
True. Now, you must have more knowledge than I do on this one, because it wasn't made clear to me if Bondrude was able to blow his whistle even though he's changed bodies. No,
they said that, they even stated that he can't. Like, that was a question that they had asked or that Rico had came up with, and Bondrude even pointed out how clever she is, because he is not able to use it. So that's why he's actually stuck on the 5th level. He can't proceed forward, and he can't even help someone proceed forward if he wanted to.
So he's trying to make another white whistle so that he can go to the sixth layer.
Probably.
Interesting. Now, what he ends up doing that makes me think that he is beyond, makes me think he's not malicious, but he just don't care.
Oh yeah, no, he is by far the least caring individual possible.
Yeah, but do you think he's malicious? Maliciousness requires intent, right?
Yeah, I would say he is, because he
is malicious.
Because he made that very deep and loving connection to Prushka, only to do that to her for that very specific purpose.
And what we're referring to is horrific. Essentially, what happens is
best left unsaid.
Oh, fair enough. Got to watch it to find out what horrors await.
Exactly. No, honestly, I mean, like, we could continue to go on for the movie and everything that goes on, but I mean, honestly, I feel like it's best left for you guys to kind of just like go out and reventure and watch it yourselves, simply because it is such a great movie. It does really answer a lot of those questions that you would have from the first season. A lot of the questions left over. The movie does answer those questions. It gives you more questions, but it does help answer them. However, it is a heart-wrenching movie. I mean, like, it is.
Yeah. It does a very good job at telling a story, getting you invested, and the delivery is amazing. The music on point. The fight scenes were just, people did their research.
Oh yeah.
And it flowed so well, and the way you get more questions, that's for certain. And I have not suspicions, but I have queries about who is the real villain here.
Yeah.
So, but highly recommend watching it yourself.
Indeed.
If you don't have the time to watch the series goes into much greater detail. But if you don't have the time, the movies do a pretty good job of catching you up and feeding you all of the necessary information.
They do. And also at the exact same time, the movies provide you a little bit different information from the series. So it is actually good to watch both of them. So
100%.
So it is, they're both great to watch. They're both really good. The movie, definitely, it is not a movie you can skip over. You do have to start the movie to go straight, to go into season 2. Otherwise, you're going to just miss too much. You're not going to understand what's going on or the events that transpired leading up to season 2, simply because there's just going to be that gap. So the movie is very important. It is.
I agree.
But luckily, you can recap it all with that series, with the movies. So make a weekend of it.
Yeah, I grabbed popcorn.
Yeah. All right, sir. I feel like this is a great spot for a rating. So on a scale of up to 10, how would you rate this?
So I can't give it a 10. I want to. The visuals on another level. The story keeps you there. Like, there's very little downtime. Everything that you come across is important. They do callbacks to specific things that were said that seemed like throwaways but weren't. And it, aside from it being a bit too gory in certain instances, it's a lot less bloody, if that makes any sense. So it was good. It's a very nice balance. The fight scenes, like I said before, immaculate. They did a very good job. They had, what I hope to say is, they had very good budgeting and a very good director and top tier animators. Music, wonderful. The music was on point. It did a damn good job at conveying certain feelings. It put you in, it drew you in and kept you there on the sad parts, on the happy parts, the fight scenes. The music helped so much to bring you to the point of you're not sure if it's going to go well or not. The suspense, very, very good. I might have just talked myself into a 10. Quick, give me something bad about it.
The level of questions that I have after this is just astronomically grown beyond that. So I'm going with a 9. The reason why I'm going with a 9 is because one, they give me even more questions to what I actually have, right? Than what I started off with. One, I want to know who the heck Greg is. Want to know what the visions he saw were. I want to know more details about Bondrude. When you see Bondrude and the metal is taken off his eye, he has like tentacles popping out of his eye or whatever the hell is going on. Like, what the hell was with that? Right? Is there like some deeper effect that we don't know about that he was afflicted with, or what the hell's going on? And, you know, like, what is the ultimate purpose of the white whistles aside from that one thing? Is there really a way for them to come back from the sixth layer and we just don't know about it, or what's going on, you know? So, but I feel like I might get some answers. I might not get some answers. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in that case, I'm going to have to mirror you and give it a 9 as well. Because I like I asked, I need something to take away from a 10, because I don't feel like it deserved a 10, but like I couldn't, with all the stuff I was saying, it made me feel a lot closer to a 10 than I was originally going for. But yeah, in that case, yeah, 9, because of all the same things you said. Questions that were not answered. It didn't have a necessary book ending, but it wasn't supposed to.
Right.
So, I mean, I can't really take too many points away for that. Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to go with a 9. I enjoyed it. I highly recommend anybody and everybody to enjoy this series. Not just watch the movie, but enjoy the series. It's unique enough that I don't think I've seen anything close to it.
Yep. It's definitely highly recommended by me as well. So it is something that you need to watch. Now, on to the next week's choice. Next week's choice. I wonder if you could guess what it is.
Rent a Girlfriend. No.
Season 2 of Made in Abyss.
Season 2. Now, because there's only, they were supposed to do 25 episodes, but they only released, 12? I think they did.
Made in Abyss. No, season 2's done, I thought. Yeah. I mean, like, came out late in 2022. Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay. So which is the most recent season? Season 3?
Season 2. Season 3 is in the process of being made right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's only 13 episodes. So,
well, in that case, yeah. I could have sworn season 2 was 25 episodes, because we had talked about it last time and you said they broke it into...
No, we were talking about something else entirely.
Oh, well then.
All right. So, if you feel like we did this week too much justice, not enough justice, or anything like that, feel free to reach out to us. All our contact information is available to you in the show notes, as well as on featuredanimepodcast.com. If you want to help support us, help us grow, patreon.com/featuredanimepodcast, $1 a month to get you access to some bonus content. And if you want to also support us by giving yourself a nice, delicious treat from Tokyo with Tokyo Treats, you use coupon code FeaturedAnime along with our affiliate link. You'll save yourself $5 off your first box from them. And trust me, those treats are oh so delicious. And if you want to help support us through other means and not do anything like that, you can buy some swanky swag at shop.featuredanimepodcast.com. And until next time, I'm Jack.
I'm Rick, and we'll see you next time.